Where are the clowns? Where are the clowns?
Where are
Where are the clowns?
where are the clowns? Where are the
Where are the
clowns?
clowns?
Where
Where
are
are
the
the clowns?
clowns? Where are the
Where are the
clowns?
clowns?
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Where Are the Clowns? In today's episode, I got the incredible opportunity to speak to Sabine Choucair. Sabine is a Lebanese American humanitarian clown and performer, the first female clown to receive the Premio Clown nel Cuore award in Italy. With qualifications in performing arts from London and social therapy from New York, she has been working with different communities around the world. She co founded Clown Me in Lebanon and Mexico, a group using the art of clowning to fight social injustice. She's a member of Clowns Without Borders USA, spreading joy and laughter among disadvantaged communities. She's the artistic director of the International Institute for Very, Very Serious Studies, a performance training program in Beirut focusing on social street theater as well as caravan street theater productions that take refugee and human rights stories to more than 100 communities in Lebanon and Tunisia and Europe. Her theater and therapy projects led her to work in Lebanon, the UK, the US, Brazil, Mexico, Canada, India, Cyprus, Tunisia, Sweden, Switzerland, Belgium, France, Cameroon, Morocco, Jordan, and Dubai. I had this wonderful, wonderful chance to speak to Sabine, and we had a really, really moving conversation. And I hope that you all are moved in the same way that I was moved in this conversation. There are things that she spoke of that she told me that still that I still think about very deeply, and that work like sunshine on really, really cloudy days. Sabine has been a huge inspiration for me, and I'm very excited to share this conversation with you all. A small note before we begin: this episode was recorded sometime in March, so you may hear some references dating back to then. This interview is also recorded over Zoom, so please bear with any audio fluctuations you might hear. We hope you enjoy the interview.
Where are the clowns?
Are you in Lebanon right now?
No, I moved. I live in Turkey. I've been living here for 2 years now,
Okay.
but I go back and forth because it's not that far, so I do that, yeah. But you know, my first big project of clowning, I did it in India actually.
Oh wow. What was
Yeah.
it?
It was in 2011, I think, or 10, I can't remember, probably 11.
Mhm.
And uh, yeah, I decided, I started Clown Me In as like a small idea with Gabriela Munoz. Have you heard of Gabriela Munoz?
I've heard of yeah, that's all. I've just heard the name around. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a very well-known clown now as well. And yeah, we went to India and we spent 3 months in like Delhi, Chandigarh, Jaipur, Udaipur. Where else did we go? Oh, we went to so many places. Ahmedabad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. We just like emailed few people, who's interested. And then we did like humanitarian clowning, clown workshops. Yeah, it was amazing.
Wow, what was it like? Just before you say one of the reasons for doing this. So this is
Yeah.
part of the Clown Spirit Fellowship that you probably heard of during the Clownathon as well last week.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one of the reasons to do this is because like you also have probably experienced, clowning is not very popular here in India. Like in the Indian performance world is also like really diverse and big, but
Yeah.
like yeah, clown is hasn't been a big part as big part of this kind of if this world in terms of form. And one of the reasons for doing this interview series was also to see how people from other countries are doing it. Because we very often hear clowns from Europe and US, and just there's a curiosity of like how are people sustaining the practice of clowning um, when the city or the place doesn't always support it. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, it's fascinating that you say it started with India. I'm very curious to know what it was like in India.
I mean, we were young and we didn't really think it through.
Hmm.
And so we really just contacted like different schools and ashrams and I don't know. I mean, we contact NGOs, and then those who said, yeah, come, will provide food or will provide, accommodation or whatever, transportation. We're like, okay. And so yeah, I mean, most of the places they really welcomed us, and they were really happy. And we were giving like clown workshops, like find your clown and enjoy failure, like laughter workshops, things like that. I remember, I can't remember where precisely. I think was it in Udaipur? I can't remember. We worked with GBV, gender-based violence cases. So we worked with women, we did clowning with them. In Ahmedabad, we worked at an ashram. We performed for kids and did workshops with adults. We went, I don't know the name of the school. We went to one of the schools. It was like a very, very high-end, high-class kids, school, like really the the really expensive ones, and they hated us. Like the 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 management had to ask us like to stop the work because we were teaching kids like it's okay to fail and it's okay to make
Yeah.
mistakes and it's okay to enjoy that. And they came to us and they were like, this is all wrong. This is like a high-end school. Kids go from here to the biggest universities in the world, to the most important universities. What are you doing? And they basically kicked us out. Like they gave us the money and said, just don't come back.
This was a workshop that you were doing there.
Yeah, we were we were
How
doing
many
a
days?
workshop with the kids, with so many classes, and we wanted to do a show with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was the only like bad experience in India, but the rest, they were all like really welcoming and it was okay. And in Chandigarh, I mean, Sukhmani, yeah?
Uh-huh,
Suk
yeah, yeah. I've interviewed her as well for this.
so her father, and her mom,
Hmm.
they have like her father died now, but they have um street theater group in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we worked with them also for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then we did some performances. Like we gave them workshops and we did performances. Yeah. So anyway, this is
Okay.
good enough for me.
Yeah. The school thing that you mentioned, that sounds like the most Indian thing ever.
Yeah, wow.
I'm amused and embarrassed at the same time. Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it was it was interesting to have this experience. I mean, we experienced it also in Lebanon. Like, we had a fundraising show last week in Lebanon, and we invited school principals to come to it because we want to try and sell clown shows for schools. So they start like seeing clowns as a um, different than like the birthday clowns.
Yeah.
And then, these like stuck up schools, like same kind of schools, the one I told you about in India, like they came to us and they said, well, we like the show, but one, uh, how like this is gonna make kids um like undisciplined. Like they can't watch the show and keep the discipline in theater. And we're like, what? Like, can't kids laugh and play with us? It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, this is giving me a lot of insight because like school, like you mentioned about the school in Lebanon and a lot of schools in India as well, the schools that I've some of the schools that I've been to, um, discipline's such a big word, but it almost feels like it's a smoke screen for something else. It's almost like we don't want the students of the school to sort of go on their own path and find and fail and make mistakes and all of those things. We want to make them really efficient, productive,
Yes.
factory manufactured persons who can go and serve an industry. Um, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't till I went to Berlin that I actually received education which was just about personal growth. Um, Otherwise, all the education that I've received in the places I've been to in India has always been about how do I become fit almost for something else. Um,
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, and also um like when I started in Lebanon, when I left London, it was 2007 and went to Lebanon and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing clowning as like a full-time job. Like I stopped everything else I was doing in life. I was a TV presenter, a TV producer, like I had a very different life. Um, and so I think I really struggled the first 5 years to make people believe that clowning is like a proper art.
Mhm.
It's a proper art form. I mean, I still struggle to do that, but not as much as like when I began. Like, of course, now we're well known and we get funding to do stuff and things like that. But it was very, very hard to convince people that clowning is something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very often when I come across people who've discovered clowning at a much later stage in their life, um, it and to some extent, even to me, it feels like some kind of a liberation because for so many years you're taught to not fail, and we're taught to to keep following a path, and here clowning is allowing you to fail, and you're getting applause when you're failing, and you're getting laughs when you're failing, and
Yeah.
yeah. I want to backtrack a bit and just sort of ask you about your journey from a long time ago. Like, what were you doing before you started clowning?
Mm.
What kind of performances or yeah,
Yeah, I
what's
mean,
growing up like?
yeah, so I grew up in Lebanon and then I studied theater. I did my BA in acting and I was really like just the not normal, what do you say? The usual kind of acting, very classical theater.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a lot of physical theater, but physical theater within classical type of theater. So I did that a lot, and in parallel, as I told you, I was like a TV presenter. So I was uh, presenting a show called Every Day a Book about books every day on an Arabic channel, and that was my life. Um because also like since I was a kid, since I was 8 years old, I was on TV presenting stuff for kids and stuff like that. So I continued this and I did performing arts. I did acting. And then I went to LISPA
Hmm.
um, and I did the No, I went to another school first. I did mime, like the crew mime,
Mm-hmm.
for a year, and then the school shut down.
Okay.
So I moved to LISPA straight to the second year. So I skipped the first year because I had done like a similar program before. Um, and that's it. And then I discovered clowning
Mm-hmm.
with Giovanni Fusetti. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop everything else and just focus on clowning. And that's really what I did. Like I went back to Lebanon, started focusing on clowning, um, and then started traveling a lot. Of course, like I didn't like just do clowning in the beginning because I mean I needed to live as well. So I was also going to different countries and performing with other people from LISPA. Like we had a very, very good group. So we kept working together. We still work together until now, actually,
Wow.
with my group from LISPA. Um, so yeah, so I did a lot of performances all over the place. And I think in 2009, I was in Mexico, and with Gabby, we decided, okay, let's do Clown Me In. Let's start Clown Me In.
Wow.
And
And
yeah,
when did you study clowning with Giovanni?
at LISPA.
Oh, Giovanni was a teacher at LISPA. Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it
So
was great. I mean, he really like, I think this man like changed my perspective of like clowning and life and everything. He was a really good pedagogue and yeah, really good.
did you have that one moment with him that sort of what changed in you after clowning?
No, I think it's like the whole process, you know. I mean, and this is like the whole process of finding the clown,
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, again, like I grew up in civil war in Lebanon, so like from one shelter to another, skipped school, like it was terrible, you know, all the trauma of war. And and I think when I worked with Giovanni, I had this shift of just looking at myself from outside and looking at all my life in this like clown. My clown was very army-like, very paranoid, like, oh my God, you know, like the whole traumas of war were in my clown, and it was so funny. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, wow, this is great. That's what I should be doing with people. And I've always liked to work with communities and people, and that's what I was doing as well. Like, although like I was an actress, but I was doing a lot of community work and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll just use clowning for this, and that's it. That was the shift, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
And it
when you
wasn't really like I was never interested in clowning as becoming a stage performer, like a clown in a theater. Like that was never something that interested me. On the contrary, when I discovered clowning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop acting because I don't like it anymore. I don't believe in it. And I'm just gonna stop being in theaters and closed spaces, and I'm gonna take the clown and go outdoors. And I had no idea that like Clowns Without Borders existed, for example.
Mhm.
Like I started Clown Me In with zero knowledge. I mean, it's terrible to say this, but you know, times were different. We didn't have access to all of these things like now. But I like, yeah, I just felt like I'm just going to use clowning with communities. And then, yeah, and bit by bit, I then studied social therapy because I felt like I want to use, like clowning is very therapeutic in its own way. So I want to do like one more thing that helps in the process of whatever I'm doing. So I studied social therapy then.
and growing up, did you always want to be an actress?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was like a like a TV, like a, yeah, like I was like a small famous person in Lebanon when I was a kid.
Cool. Now you're a big famous
You
person.
know, you know, ah.
Now you're a big famous person.
No, I'm not famous as I was like before. Before I was like really, really it was like after war and I was on TV all the time. So everybody knew me and I always felt like I want to do acting and I had different ideas.
Wow.
And now all I want to do is just like go to crisis zones and just enjoy and clown with people.
I do hear this a lot though, from from people who've always wanted to be actors or theater performers, and they discover clown, and this huge shift within, and they just go like, this is not for me anymore. Like this
Yeah.
separation between me and the audience, I don't want that anymore. I don't
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, I remember, so I was doing my last performance ever. I was performing in France for like a play, like a serious play. And I just broke the fourth wall like big time. I mean, the director killed me after the performance. I just couldn't. I was like, what is this bullshit that I don't believe in anymore? And I think that was when I said, okay, I'm not gonna act anymore. That's it for me. I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And how was it? I'm assuming you studied clown in London, right?
yeah.
So when you I guess came back to Lebanon, what is clowning popular? Was clowning popular back then in Lebanon? How did people gel with the idea of clowning and like
No, it's really not popular. I mean, we didn't grow up seeing clowns or watching clowns or having clowns at all. I mean, of course, again, we grew up during the Civil War, so it's like none of these things was anything.
yeah,
I went to the cinema the first time in my life when I was 16 years old. Like, it's different kind of childhood. But when I came back, I told you, yeah, it was very, very hard to convince people that clowning is a thing. So I wrote a proposal and I sent it to 70 different organizations and institutions, uh, offering them like a clown workshop for their teams or for their beneficiaries. And it was only Save the Children who told me, okay, you can try. And if it works, then okay. If it doesn't, then we're gonna give you just a little bit of money for this job. And I did it with their team. And then it began. Like I did it, it was a success. They told another organization told another organization, ta 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 ta. And then I started really using clowning with Syrian refugees and, well, mostly before I used it with Palestinian refugees living in Lebanon. And then I started giving my own clown workshops. And, the first clown workshop I had, I think, like friends and family who came to the workshop, like 10 or 12 people. After this workshop, I had people I didn't know. And then boom, 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 more. And Clown Me started. And I think now, basically in Lebanon, like Clown Me is known because are we go to protests with our clowns. We do a lot of, I mean, we only work on the streets, so we're always on the streets.
hmm,
So like it's very nice to say, but I think we're like I'm one of the first who, not of course not the first who brought clowning to Lebanon because I had my teachers who were clowns, but they couldn't fight enough for clowning. So there was not a clowning anything like
yeah.
the clowns in the country or anything. But I think like Uh, yeah, I mean, when I really started Clown Me In, it made a change. And now, of course, Clown Me In is the biggest clown group in the country, but we also have clown doctors, Ibtisama. So we have a clown group, clown doctors, and we have a circus group that do a little bit of clowning, which is, um, yeah,
And
it's
these are
great.
all clowns from Clown Me In.
What?
These are all clowns from Clown Me In.
No, no, no. I mean, I started Clown Me In, and then later Ibtisama, the clown doctors
Okay.
started.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
Wow. So I really like what you said, like just fight for clown. Um, yeah, because from what it sounds like you fought for clown, and now it feels like a pretty big thing in Lebanon. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And when do you make this connection of like, was it the first time you encountered clown that you knew you wanted to go on the streets and do clowning? Were
Oh
you
yeah.
already doing street theater before that?
Um, no, I wasn't doing street theater before that. No, I was really just inside.
Yeah.
But then, of course, because of LISPA and like the whole process, made me think like I only want the streets and I only want to work with communities.
Mm.
Um, And now I don't only do clowning, I do street theater a lot. Of course, clowning as street
Yeah.
theater, but also I look for stories and take these stories to the streets and do like big productions on the streets based on stories and stuff like that. Um, but it's all comedy and light and um it's all inspired and based on clowning anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come to this now, which is how how do you keep this going? Because I mean how are things in Lebanon, if I may ask right now? Um,
Well, now it's shit. I mean, less shitty than, a few months ago when the war was full on. How do I keep things going? Um, well, I get funding from humanitarian organizations or from cultural institutions. So I send proposals to like I come up with projects and try to find money for these projects. Of course, we don't like people don't pay to come see us. We go on the streets, we go to see people, and we've been very lucky. Um, like I started Clown Me In now is a non-profit organization,
mhm.
which helps to get funding. And we have like a budget. I mean, we started with a budget of $20,000 a year, and now we're on a budget of like 600,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know how also. Like that's also that's also another thing. Like I wake up every day, I'm like, why am I managing a nonprofit organization? Like, of course, I get to do everything I love to do in life, but it is shitty. Like I just want to perform and that's it. I
Mm.
don't but you can't do one thing. So yeah, I think I got funding from the EU first to do a street theater performance um, once with the Syrian refugees, and this was like a huge hit, and it went like viral in a way. And then I was, because of it, I was invited to Davos, to the World Economic Forum, to talk about the work and clowning and how it affects communities and populations and blah, blah, blah. And to give a clown workshop at Davos to all these, like, it was funny. It was ridiculous to all these, like, fake clowns. Uh, and yeah, and then, and then UNICEF put a little bit of money in this project
Mhm.
and they loved it. And then they started supporting Clown Me and more to do more street theater, more clown performances. Um, and then UNDP and then blah blah blah. And then I once got a organization, like a foundation in Switzerland. They contacted me and they said, "We like your work. What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to start a school where we could do like a school um, for professional artists or therapists to come and do like 9 months of master classes in different art forms, and then with social therapy, and then go to communities and use these tools and come up with street performances that are political, engaged, talk about, what the youth is going through, blah, blah, blah. And they funded the school for 4 years. And, so I had the school called the International Institute for Very, Very Serious Studies.
Mm.
So we taught clowning, bouffon, masks, puppets, all of this. And then artists would go to and work with communities for 3 months and devise like new street theater performances and do that. Yeah, and now we're trying to find more funding for it because students don't pay to be there. They just go through a very hard process of auditioning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we're trying to find funding to turn it a bit hybrid so people from outside of Lebanon can also join the school and try things. And yeah.
I'm sure funding would probably just be a part of it. I believe when you're constantly working with refugees in in areas of war, um, it probably does it probably has an impact on you emotionally as well. And I believe and I guess just how do you keep the playfulness? How do you keep the lightness alive? Because
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
reading the news in Lebanon takes away the playfulness from me when I'm sitting
Yeah.
here in Mumbai, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's because you're far, but
Of course, yeah.
for us, it's like if we don't clown around the misery, we die. Like clowning gives us hope, really. We always say, I mean, during this last war that happened,
Yeah.
the only thing that made my team get out of bed every day is that they knew that they were going to perform for displaced people under the bombs. Like, or else they would have been depressed at home, thinking that this is the end of their life. So clowning is like not only good for people we go perform for, but it's also good for us. And I'm sure I mean,
Yeah.
the effect of clowning on you, right? So it's like it saves us. It is hard, of course. I mean, when I go on tours, especially when I in 2014, 13, 14, 15, and 16, I was really like nonstop on tours, following the refugee route, like going to Lesbos, for example, to clown around for people like arriving from the sea. Like I've heard about people drowning, dead, da da da. Like it was very, very, very hard. So like after every tour, I get completely like I need to come back home and have like 1 week where I don't talk to anyone, where I like shut down just to assimilate and understand and like get everything into my body and system. But I also feel like, I mean, I'm doing the best thing ever because if I don't do that, I don't think I will have anything that attach me to this life, I mean, just
Mm.
like being a clown, going to a gray, terrible zone and um, offering laughter and seeing like the effect on people is for me like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Mm. And also I again like and I see it because I perform with like all these people coming from all over the world. And I think the difference I see when I'm in these cases is that I see people who are coming out of war differently than somebody who's like who grew up in the US or in anywhere in Europe
Mm.
understandably, of course, who is like who doesn't know, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I say this? Should I not say this? I know that it's okay, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. We'll make fun of death. We'll make fun of war. We'll make fun of uh fight, flight, or freeze. We'll make fun of the drones on like we make fun of anything and everything because that's how we get over it.
Uh, could you share um I don't know how you would be able to share it in words, but if it would it be possible to share in words um some of the kinds of things that you do, like what you probably have recently done? Um,
Hmm?
uh, yeah, would it be possible? Like what kind
Yeah,
of
like
performances do you do when you meet them?
so we do like of course some like known clown skits that we know um are gonna work with people no matter what.
Yeah.
And then we see what what's the main trauma uh, in this community?
Mm.
So let's say I'll give you a recent example from Lebanon. So during this last war with the Israelis, they used to have this drone just constantly on flying on top of our heads. So it's like all day long.
Mm.
And the idea is that this is like a plane that that's like observes what's happening, who's doing what, and it's very stressful, like extremely stressful. And you know that after this drone, somewhere is gonna be bombed, is gonna get bombed. So in the clown performance, we have a scene where we're all sleeping,
Mm.
and then we hear the drones, you know? And then I go, I look, and then so it's like a mosquito.
Yeah.
And like so
Oh.
so we found like different ways of turning it into a game. And what's really amazing is that people recognize the sound and then feel like they laugh a lot and they did laugh a lot and clapped a lot like on many occasions when we played this when they saw this because it's just like it's nice, it's silly and
Yeah.
it's stupid and it's totally like not real, and we will never be able to do that to a real drone, but it's so rewarding to see this, so they like it.
Yeah. And the thing that you said about your very first clown experience with Giovanni back in 2006, um, that you got to see your life from the outside. Uh,
Yeah.
and and to me, this sounds like you are showing everyone else their lives from the outside by being the clown in the space.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what bigger gift you can give to people in times like these, or just like
No, I mean I know, and that's why I say like I don't know, like I don't know or I don't want to do anything else than clowning in my life.
Yeah.
Keep like digging and finding things like that because it's amazing.
And I believe it's a practice now. Like it's because I'm still it's been around less than 2 years actually since I first encountered clowning. So it's still fairly new in my life. Um and Yeah, very often, I mean, like this is especially incredibly inspiring for me right now because um like the smallest thing happens in India and the despair suddenly feels like too heavy to do anything. The
Yeah.
despair just like surrounds you. And of course, the more I've practiced clowning and the more I've really delved into it and understood, it becomes manageable to deal with it. But I'm assuming for you to do it for almost 20 years now, um, it's a practice, I guess. Like there's despair, and you almost have like your weapons ready, which is like a clown nose and like I don't know your costumes maybe, and you're ready to deal with the despair. The
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no place for cynicism, I'm assuming, in your life anymore.
What do you mean?
I'm guessing you don't encounter many days when you feel like the world is shit and it's a terrible place to live in
I
and
mean,
there
yes,
are
every day. That's why I keep clowning.
Mhm. But not the cynicism that sort of makes you go like this
No,
world is
no,
shit and I just want to go into
no,
my hole
no,
and just be by myself. It's
no, no, no,
yeah.
no, no.
Um,
Obviously not. Yeah.
have you ever come across anyone while performing in refugee camps anyone who doesn't appreciate this just once or twice even maybe?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, very few really. I mean, and it's yeah, of course. But I've never like been anywhere where people like have fear of clowns or like they think clowns are coming or like this is a very a foreign thing to me
Yeah.
or to play to people where yeah, where I perform. But of course, like I've encountered yeah, there was a lot of places where, we'd come to a place and like one time in Lesbos, like a boat capsized with 400 people on it, and I think only 100 people made it.
Okay.
And the rest died or were lost in the sea. And the second day, like uh, the uh, the whole island, everybody was so depressed and so down. But then one person from one of the camps called us and said, "Please come and perform for us and for the kids because the situation is really bad." And it's these moments when it's like really tricky, where like the majority is happy and needs to laugh, and then you get like few people who come and say like, "Why are you clowning when
Yeah.
300 people died?" Like, so you have like some kind of sometimes you have things like that, or in the earthquake zone where there would be like a day where there there's a funeral for somebody and they would be like, please don't come. But as like us, like other than that, not really. Like people they love it. And it's always first the kids come,
Mhm.
I'm sure you can imagine, then their mothers come, and then their fathers, and then everybody's watching the show. So always also like one very important thing is that our um our show is always for everyone, like not only for kids. So we think about the shows in a way where everybody can enjoy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also just to remind, it's also just making me think of the kind of sensitivity that you and your group must be practicing amongst yourselves to, because a space of mourning can be a very, very fragile space. As,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I wonder if like if a loved one of mine has like died in an earthquake and everyone around me is laughing, it could also make me angry, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, we're very, very careful about these things. Like we don't start a performance before getting like proper permits from the main people. Um, we have like a lot of things that we do to make sure that this is an adequate time and place to do what we're doing. Um, and we have also like special um, laws and tricks about how where to perform, how to always keep like something like to be behind the wall, in front of the wall, or have a wall behind us,
Mm.
how to park the cars in a way if there's an emergency to leave straight away, run and leave straight away. So we have all of these practices as well, um, that we think of, but really like we rarely had to. I mean, clowning is so positive that it's amazing how much you can do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And like,
Like,
I have a skit that I do, I've been doing for like ever, for 14 years now, like a marriage skit with my clown. And I also like I use it as a political scene where I always pick the person, uh, the guy who's like, I don't know, the mayor or somebody who's responsible for whoever or wherever I am at, or someone that is seen on like a very high level, and
mhm,
I just make fun of him
mhm.
time. Um, and it's great. It's great because you really can get away with everything in clowning, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering, I think no other form that would make you laugh could be performed at spaces like these. I like,
No,
yeah, a stand-up comedy show would not work in a space like
no,
this, you know?
no.
Those,
What's really good in clowning, really, really good, is that also like people don't see us as like they don't see gender in clowns. They like, I perform with a short dress. My back is like, I'm half naked, really. Like my back, you can see all my back. And we go to places that are pretty conservatives, and they don't see us as like gender at all. Like it's, yeah, that's what's also magical. Like clowning puts us and people in a different space where everything is possible and you can say whatever you want
yeah.
and people laugh.
And what are some of your group's practices to keep yourselves going? Like, of course, you said like all of you just need to clown to not feel depressed and be in the room. But yeah, what do you? I'm sure there are some shows that feel heavy. Um,
I mean, we have self-care,
uh-huh.
that's for sure. We have, like during war, we had one session per week with one session of therapy, group therapy per week. So that's important. We always have therapy sessions after tours. Um, we try to meet every week just for to rehearse and to play together. So not really to rehearse, but to play together, practice clowning and laugh. We go dancing a lot.
Oh.
And we have a ritual uh, before every show and before and to start rehearsals every time. And when we meet, we do 10 minutes of breathing
Mhm.
and 15 minutes of Pilates. And that's like sacred. Like we meet, we do Pilates, then breathing, and then whatever we want to do. And like all these things, and and it's also we're very, very good friends. We're like a family, so anyway, we always see each other. And people, I started Clown Me In with 4 people in Lebanon. Like I recruited 4 people in the beginning, and now it's 15 people, and there was nobody who joined the clown team that left,
Mm.
unless except those who had to leave the country, but
Mm.
they're still part of Clown Me In. So now, like the Clown Me In team around the world is 40 people, but then those who stayed in Lebanon are less. But yeah, that's important.
And you've moved to Turkey now for the last few years.
Yeah.
And how's it in Turkey? Do you also work a lot in Turkey?
Yeah, I started another clown group here, like a sister organization for Clown Me In. So we have 12 clowns here, and we've been performing in the earthquake zone a lot. Yeah, and I keep going back and forth to Lebanon. I go every 6 weeks, sometimes 2 months, sometimes less, depending on projects and stuff. It's okay. Turkey is nice. It's a beautiful place.
I'm sure like starting a new group in Turkey wouldn't have felt like a fight this time because
No, no.
Turkey I believe has a lot more clown culture.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
It has more clowns for sure,
Mhm.
and more interest in clowning. And I think nowadays less it's less hard than before.
Yeah.
Also for me it's less hard because I mean like because now I have a history in like what I do, so I can go and tell people this is what I do, this is what I've been doing, and this is what I believe in, and you know.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. This has been a really, really inspiring conversation. I my heart is quite full right now. Just listening
Oh,
to your journey and your stories. And yeah, I feel quite ready to just like get out and do something, you know.
yes.
Thank you. It's been a really lovely conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Where Are the Clowns is an audio interview series committed to bringing stories from clowns all over the world, thanks to the Clown Spirit Fellowship by Barnaby King and Dan Rudolph. The music for the series is created by Hanna Fleety Ordolin, also known as Mashana, and I'm Manish, your host for the interview. See you in the next episode.